Hello. Welcome back to the At Wits End podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve. This is my co-host, Ryan. This is our co-host, Gaston. How are you guys doing tonight?
Don't forget about the producer back.
And yeah, whatever. You know what? I shouldn't do that because he can cut my mic.
Number 3. Here we go.
So we're back here with a new episode. One could say extra episode or a bonus episode.
Yes. Hopefully no one has to pay extra for it.
Or should we download this episode?
Oh.
So
I get it. Yeah.
So in one of our other episodes, you started to bring up loot boxes, and it's got to start and think about like loot boxes, DLC, and just all this other random stuff that the gaming industry gets into that it's kind of unsettling at times, and sometimes worth it, and then sometimes it's like, why? So
yeah.
you want to take the point on this?
Yeah. So basically what we're talking about is aftermarket content is the business term that one would use. So first of all, like, is it a good idea? Like, is it the optimum way to present like more things to a game, or would you prefer a game to be completely finished? And then we're gonna we're gonna get into, how do you dole out DLC? What about like pay to win stuff? Is loot boxes okay, or are loot boxes okay? Et cetera, et cetera.
I think you goofed up a bit. You overplayed your hand and revealed my trap card. It scared the crap out of me because I can't see him. But no, you frame the question as, is DLC okay? Or I'm paraphrasing. Is DLC okay, or do you prefer the game to be finished? And I think that's the problem we're at now. That hasn't always been the case. Like originally, DLC wasn't something where it's like, we didn't finish the game one time, but we need to make some money, so we're gonna sell you this game, and then we'll give you the rest of it later, like Mass Effect. What?
Thanks for stealing my,
Oh, my
stealing
bad.
thunder.
I got a pocket full of them. Yeah. So originally, it's just like we have a complete product, but there's still more we can add to it, and we did.
And it won't affect the game.
Yeah, like it's just extra. Here's like maybe producer, sir.
No,
I don't want you to come on mic, sir. You want to add something, sir?
I was going to say, one of the first times I can remember is when it was The Sims, because, they had the complete product, and then you had to buy additional discs
Yeah.
to get upgraded.
And
actually,
it wasn't
okay.
like hey, like your game just stops if you don't have this disc. It was like you can play the entire game. If you just want to add like some, a pool feature, like some of the like beach features to The Sims, like you can get this. Like, you can still play the entire game by itself. You can still have just as much fun. But if you want to just add extra stuff that, this will either make, difficulty. I wouldn't say difficulty because Sims is.
It's mind-numbing.
People die.
Personally, I'm just going to do the whole Bender quote from Futurama with The Sims. Like, I was God once. I know. You was doing good until everybody died. That is me playing The Sims. But like, yeah, with like the bonus discs and stuff, like, you can still play the entire game without those bonus discs.
Yeah. Because like, originally, the original DLC, the predecessor of all DLC, is just an expansion pack.
Yeah.
Right. You have a game like,
And that's what it used to be called too, an expansion pack.
like most PC games, eventually.
It's still called that in PC games.
Yeah, that's fair. You just buy an expansion pack to add content to the game since they couldn't just, download it for you.
But, now we have, like, new games. We have, like, No Man's Sky. That was a disaster.
All right, well, that was
That
a
game-
disaster just to start with.
Right.
Well, that game didn't exist until DLC.
fixed it.
Well, let me say this. We have games that aren't complete. We have, like, Minecraft, and the creator was making that all along, but he did it successfully. But then we have, like I said,
No Man's
Sky.
Well, I think there's a difference between those types of games because No Man's Sky, although that's a bigger production, I think No Man's Sky is like a symptom of something that's been available on Steam for, well, not anymore. I don't think you can do it anymore. But like getting games in early access, basically you buy the game, and when it's an alpha or beta or whatever, and it's incomplete. But the developer promises, like, oh yeah, once we finish it, you'll get whatever, right? Like DayZ has been in, or was at least for the longest time in early access, and they just kept adding stuff to the game to make money so they could finish it. But basically, that's buying an incomplete game and getting a bunch of DLC.
And
I was going to say, isn't Fortnite technically an incomplete game?
No, it's actually a real game.
It was
Yeah.
in beta for a really long time. Like it just left beta.
Don't quote it. Okay, I was going to say don't quote me, but I
Because
think it's still
I just went to Google to look that up, and it was like there are articles like in late summer, early fall, like is Fortnite season 5 going to be out of beta? I don't know.
Okay. But what were we going to
Interesting.
say? Ryan?
Going back to your point of Minecraft, though, like even though it was an incomplete game, it was still very fun to play. So a lot of people didn't know it was incomplete. The story may have been incomplete, but the amount of stuff you could do, it kind of prevented you from knowing that it was incomplete. And so I think, like how you said that it was, or I think you said it was like more successful in that sense.
No, he said that. It was him.
Oh, it was,
Give the producer credit, please.
oh yeah,
Of course, yes.
Cut.
man. I hate that guy and I hate everything he stands for. Yeah, and I'm not a big Minecraft person, but yeah, I give them credit for like disguising it as not being like as being a complete game, even though it wasn't. Because there was so much stuff you could do in Minecraft, and you see how big of a following it has now. Too, it's like incomprehensible to think that that game was incomplete when it first came out.
Yeah.
But can I also say, and Gaston, don't jump on it too hard, but we have like DLC like in Breath of the Wild where
Gotta fight you now.
where we had a complete game. It's like the other one you were talking about. We have a complete game, but we have additional story arcs with the DLC.
Yeah.
Well, then here's the question, though, right? Because they announced that DLC when the game was before the game was launched. We knew that there was a story extra DLC.
Right.
So the question is the game complete if you're telling us that there's still more story for us to play?
And I would argue yes. Because
In that case.
because the champions ballot as
Oh, that was just context. I just mean in general.
well I'm using this as a specific
He's
example.
gonna answer your question with this specific example.
Yeah, but that won't answer.
So
the question.
with the thing with Breath of the Wild with the champions ballot, like that was like without the champions ballot, if I beat Breath of the Wild, did I feel satisfied? Yes, somewhat.
But
Because I mean, Ganon final boss is just bleh.
Trash.
But
I'm not with you on that one.
but like the game itself, like it was complete and it was fun. Like if Champions Ballot never came out, I would not complain. When Champions Ballot came out, it's like, oh, now I understand more about the champions and like their characters, and it didn't take away from the original story. It just added a little bit more to it, so it was still a complete game.
It was
Yeah,
like
but I'm
actual
saying-
bonus.
What I'm saying
content.
is, if that was in the base game, it wasn't DLC. The feeling would be the same. Like the feelings you described, were like, I'm dissatisfied with the final boss, but playing the game was complete. But the Champions Ballot just adds extra for the character. If it wasn't DLC, it'd be exactly the same. The only difference is they charge you $20 for it because they weren't done.
But it's like you said, it's an expansion. It's an expansion to that world.
Well, what I mean is, I'm talking about planned DLC, right? Because essentially what happened is, I'll give you an example, right? When Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, right? Capcom said, we're going to release 10 extra characters as DLC. And everyone goes, that's fine. Sure, whatever. But then everyone finds out that those characters are on the disc, and it's locked on the disc, and you have to pay $20 to get all the characters. As a result, no one ever played that game anymore, and that's a shame. It was a good game. But anyway,
But see that's different to me.
yeah, the game is done, but they charge you for extra content, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, the only difference that we have for Nintendo is the game wasn't done because it's content they've already planned. It just wasn't finished yet, and they're charging $20 for it. The only difference is it's not already already on the disc. Literally, the difference between those two things is that we weren't done versus we are done, but we're still charging you the same amount of money.
But can I point out one thing? Just in general, Capcom does some shitty things. Because,
I know.
one of
I'm not going to defend them.
You
I
include
looked at,
EA in there too.
Well, he's just talking about Capcom
But
right now.
here's what Capcom did that I was just like, how do you do that? They had a DLC for color swaps of their characters that not in the cutscene, and if you were playing online, they could not see. And I'm just like, that's shitty. But I will also say this though, Nintendo, or just not Nintendo, and all these companies, once they sell the game, they make absolutely no more money from it. So I can understand that, they're just like, oh, we have this extra
Thing.
computerized DLC,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need it to finish the game. But if you want to pay $20 more for this extra content,
You can get an amiibo T-shirt or
right.
whatever.
Hey,
And they're
you
not
go.
like holding a gun to your face saying, "You better buy this." Shit.
Now,
No, I get it. Like,
Speaking
now,
on
hold
that,
up. The difference
Nah.
is literally I understand.
now,
I'm not
speak-
saying they were the same.
Speaking on that, about holding a gun to your head saying you need to buy this in order to finish the game, Mass Effect 3, I think that's really where DLC started to go downhill with like EA taking control of it.
Yeah.
Because that was just a terrible. Day one, first of all, it was day one DLC. Like, you had to have that DLC day one because that was part of the game. Like, if you did not have that DLC, you would get to a certain point in the game and it would stop and say you needed the DLC to complete the game.
Are you talking about getting that character?
Yeah, Javik,
Yeah.
the Prothean character.
Because I think they did that with another game. I was looking it up and I just didn't write it down, but
Yeah, they probably had before this, but I know Mass Effect 3 was one of the major infractions that EA did with the day one DLC, where it was like you can get to that part really easily in like one day or two, and then it's like the game just stops, and it's like that's not right. Like that's
can you avoid that though?
no, you can't.
So you have to go through it. Okay.
Yeah, because it's literally
A part of the game.
It's a part of the game, and it locks the game out because you need that character in order to proceed to the end of the game.
I mean, we don't talk about Mass Effect. Great game, but there are so many things that went wrong with that. Specifically, the ending. By
Well-
the way, Ryan, what's your favorite color?
I think it was the one where I killed everybody.
Oh, that was an inside joke, you
Wow,
guys.
But like,
I didn't
okay.
get it because I didn't play Mass
So,
Effect.
so a
Neither
couple
did I.
things. A couple things that I want to address. I'll try to go in order. So with what you guys were talking about, I think there's a very clear difference between like what Nintendo does, for example, where here is the full Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game, and then we're gonna let you know we have this extra content. We didn't really need to put it in, but we have it. So if you want to buy it, it's extra.
It's
Yeah.
different. No, because you make it seem incidental. It's
No,
we
it's
are.
not.
You said
They
but
planned
we,
it. Yes,
yeah.
we have this extra stuff. We didn't include it in the game because it's not necessary. to
I'm
be
talking about your
included in
phase.
the
You know,
game.
we kind of just have it.
That's fine.
Shrugs your shoulders.
Fine.
Like, come on, dude.
We didn't. It wasn't necessary for it to be in the game. We have it. If you want to buy it, here you go. Right. There's a difference between that and something like Street Fighter V, where it's like, well, here's a base game. We have other things. They're not done.
Only the
yet.
characters were money. Only the characters.
But
cost
can
money.
But Capcom does that a lot, where they're like, we just didn't include it, but it's like a part of the game.
But here's one thing though. Nintendo said this right before you even bought the game, so you could be like, "I don't agree with this. I'm not going to buy the game."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, same thing with Smash Brothers. They told you right out the gate, like, hey, we are
Almost a
planning.
month before.
We're planning to have what is it, 5 extra DLC characters?
5 plus Piranha Plant.
Yeah, I understand.
Wait,
Yeah.
we just have to say we have Joker and 4 more characters. Thank you.
Well, now as the current,
Well,
yeah.
now we're dated. Ugh.
But and I understand what you're saying, Steve, and I feel like it's a really fine line of saying like, yes, that's okay, and then like that's a terrible practice.
I guess it's not so much versus it's okay. It's more acceptable. Because the difference is, you know, for Capcom, it's stuff. If I bought the disc and all that data is on the disc and they're charging me to unlock it, like that's unacceptable. I can clearly see a line that they have crossed. But with Nintendo, it's like, well, I couldn't get that stuff unless it was DLC.
Yeah, and but
So
it's
people
also
are more-
like it's not necessary too. It's like I don't
need Dudley to
I don't need the
cross that, to be
unicorn
fair.
motorcycle in Breath of the Wild. Do
But
I?
it was neat.
You mean the Master Cycle Zero?
But like, would it be fun to drive around on it? Hell yes.
I mean, I understand.
I'm
but
going to
what-
feed my unicorn apples.
I guess fighting games aren't a good comparison to.
Like,
Well, that's fine.
now I do think there are some companies that do DLC well. Well, I wouldn't say companies. Some games like Overwatch does DLC well to me.
Well, it's free. So, yeah.
Well, can I finish my thought?
No.
So, one thing, a lot of their DLC content is not necessary to the game. It's just like a lot of skins and
A lot of skins.
yeah, a lot of skins, voice lines, spray paints, things that like if you don't have them, it won't like prevent you from being a good player in that game. It doesn't give you any it doesn't give you any leg up over another player.
I mean,
Are you sure?
if
Now-
Because hang on, because last time I checked, Reaper has a skin where he doesn't have a head. That makes headshots much more difficult, right? That makes them much more difficult because you
mean-
can't see his head.
Anyway,
if Ryan doesn't have a green shirt, I'm automatically a lame character, or I'm using a lame character, and I can't compete.
His shirt's black. What a
And-
scrub.
and
What
then-
a scrub character.
like Gaston said, most of their DLC is free as well. So like even the new characters that they add, they're all free, and everyone can get them the same time. So it's not like, oh, you have to pay for this character, or you have to wait for after the paid people to get it for you to be able to experience that character. It's like, no, everything's free. Everyone gets it at the same time. Everyone's equal. So I feel like that's a good way to do DLC. Because like that's like inconsequential DLC. Like, oh hey, we think this looks cool, so here we're gonna give it to people. Now, some of the paid stuff that some things that you pay for DLC. Like if I had to pay for skins, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that DLC.
Yeah.
But-
Question, because as far as Overwatch and money is concerned, the only thing you can buy directly are the
Loot
boxes,
boxes,
right? You
yeah.
can't like just buy a skin, right?
No, I don't think like all right. So the way the system works in Overwatch, so you get gold in Overwatch.
Yeah.
So you use the gold, the in-game gold.
Oh, just they
to-
do in-game
that-
currency.
Yeah, so you can buy, the stuff.
That makes sense.
Now you can buy. I know you can buy loot boxes directly using like official USD, and I think you can also buy gold, so that you can buy some of the costumes. But some of them are locked for like certain seasons.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
So like the upcoming Christmas season or holiday skins.
yeah, it's
Some of them are going to be locked out for a while after this cycle rolls over.
so
So
they come back around.
something like that, yeah.
So here's something that Jason kind of touched on for a second, but we didn't get to discuss. A big part of the prevalence of DLC is because game prices are at $60. Like nobody wants to think about it / nobody remembers, but like in the early 90s, like Super Nintendo games were like $80-$90 depending on what game it was. Like games used to actually be really expensive.
But are we talking about the ones with like the additional chips though?
I mean, sometimes like Yoshi's Island was like $85.
I know Donkey Kong 64, you need the expansion pack, so increase the price for that too.
Yeah.
Right. But part of the reason that games are $60 is because it's the bare minimum that a game company, like a developer, would be able to have to get enough money to keep themselves afloat.
Well, it's
We're about to
also
get
that's also the amount of money that they set for game stores in general, so that everyone can make money.
Well, here's the thing. Game stores actually kind of take a hit. Like, there's a really interesting article on Game Rant that I kind of found here. So they talk about what cut of that $60 everybody gets that's involved with the game. So apparently, for every $60 video game sale, 27 of those dollars goes to the publisher. So like if Ubisoft made a game, they get $27. $15 goes to the retailer, so like GameStop, Walmart, Target, whoever actually sold it. $7 goes to return the games that don't sell, and $7 also goes to the actual platform that it's on, so like Nintendo, Xbox, whatever. And then the remaining $4 is for distribution and like cost of the good itself, like
So-
the physical thing.
I understand.
So if a game moves 1 million copies, the game store makes $15 million. I don't want to hear that they're taking a hit.
Well, hang on. Just because they're making a lot of money doesn't mean they're not taking a hit.
No, what I'm
Just
saying-
because
think
you
about it this
don't
way.
feel bad for rich people
Think
doesn't mean
about
that
it this
they're
way:
not suffering.
if GameStop sells 1
not.
million, if GameStop sells 1 million copies and they make $15 million, that $15 million has to get split between everywhere that game was sold and all their employees and all the overhead costs and everything.
I know that.
But
I know operation costs and all that type of stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, you make it sound like they're taking a major hit, because it's not like only one game comes out per year. So if you have many big games that are going to do good, like Call of Duty is going to push way more than 1 million copies. Like what's another good game? Smash Brothers definitely going to hit more than 1 million copies.
I mean, I think we can all just kind of agree. Fuck GameStop.
I mean, we can.
I mean, I'm good. I don't hate that.
If I return Smash Brothers today, I'll probably still get $5 for it.
Also,
store credit.
Part of the reason they do that is because like sometimes they take a loss on games that don't sell as well as they should.
Well, I mean, yeah. Plus, the whole thing is when you return a game to GameStop, that's all them, right? They get all the money. So, or for reselling it, they'll get all the money. And that's why they don't want to give you too much back because one, if they don't resell it, they just lost money technically. So like is it too cheap to return a game I just bought and get like $4 for it? Yeah, but you don't have to return it.
Yeah, you can always sell it.
Yeah,
like by yourself.
Yeah,
Amazon.
Yeah, eBay is still a thing. I think.
You
So-
sell it for 50 and still make money, or not make money, but you won't.
You won't. Yeah, you won't have lost $55 or whatever.
So on the topic of DLC, what about I won't say additional content, but like additional things that you get if you buy a special pack of games. So it's not like downloadable content, but it's like other stuff you can get. Like with Tomb Raider, you could get the steel case where you got like some pictures that like from certain like artists depictions and stuff like that. Like how do y'all
Yeah.
feel about like those sort of
so the
content?
collector packs.
Yeah, like collector's
Yeah,
packs
yeah.
and like other random things. Like, how do y'all feel about that as far as like
I mean,
content?
honestly, it just depends on what it is, right? Because you can end up with some shitty Infinity eggs or like a nylon bag that's supposed to be
Yeah,
canvas.
people are really upset with that now.
Or you can get something that's like that's really cool. Like I with what is it? Skyward Sword. God damn it! With Skyward Sword, if you bought the collector edition, that you got a Wiimote that had Wiimotion Plus built into it,
Oh, the
and
golden one?
Yeah, and you also got a CD that had.
You can get the CD out buying the collector's edition.
Well, I'm just
too.
saying if you bought a collection, is
Yeah.
what you got in it, and you also got the CD with like some orchestra music.
Symphony of the Goddess.
Yeah, and it
20th,
was- It's a quality product. Like I don't mind.
yeah,
if
that disc was great.
Yeah, I don't. If the collector's edition is good and I get a quality thing from, like the helmet for Fallout 76 looks cool, but everything else is trash, including the
I
game.
mean, all you got to give me is a soundtrack, and I'm there.
Well, yeah, and then Killer Cuts, you could get that too.
Well, that was free with the game.
That's what I mean. Well, that's back in the day, the good
Yeah.
old days, right? But that's what I'm saying. As far as buying a game and getting extra stuff, depends on what it is. Like Killer Cuts, hell yeah.
But two things.
I thought you were doing money years.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
what I
no.
thought too. I was like, huh?
No, two things. I don't want to say for every single one, but usually they tell you, yeah, you can get X, Y, and Z from it. Or, if you wait, hopefully you're not waiting until after it comes out because you're probably not going to get it. But they usually let you know what you're getting. Plus, I don't, the extra content, if you can buy it, like a soundtrack that came with the collector's issue, if you could just buy the soundtrack, you know what you're getting. So I don't really see an issue with the collectors. You're paying more money because you want to pay more.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
It's only an issue if the thing you get is inferior, or it's something like, or it's just bad. At that point, because then it's just like you're getting ripped off.
I mean, you can still probably hold it for money, really.
Yeah, I agree. But like, so say something like you get a code to download something online. Like for example, Sonic Generations. If you pre-ordered that game, you got what was later to be a pinball stage based on Casinopolis Zone. I didn't know that at the time. Didn't really matter because I was buying the game anyway. But like, I can understand if someone who was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna add Casinopolis Zone remixed into a modern Sonic stage," and you buy it, and you're like, "Oh, it's just fucking pinball." Like, because they don't tell you it's pinball until you have the little card and it's like pinball stage, right? So that's different. Like that kind of thing is messed up.
Well,
but normally
you
it's
brought up a good thing. Like I know like different stores, like if you pre-order from different stores, you get downloadable stuff.
Oh, don't pre-order games, guys. It's a waste of money.
So like if you go to GameStop, you can download. You'll get the downloadable content to get like a new gun that's only exclusive to GameStop. Or if you pre-order from Target, you get this random outfit that does certain perks that only you can get from Target. Now that I don't like.
Yeah, because it's not fair at all. Like,
And
what if
it's-
I live
it's really
miles
biased.
away from Target and I can only walk uphill both ways to get there?
Or what if, like you said, I just download directly from the eShop or from the Microsoft Store. Why can't I get these things?
It's
Yeah.
really biased, too.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, it's inherently there's nothing wrong with like that kind of practice. Like inherently, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like if you got a skin for pre-ordering something from a specific place and it did nothing, just look different, I wouldn't care.
But it's usually something that
Yeah, it has to be worth it. Otherwise, you're not going to pre-order.
like you get this gun day one that everybody else has to work for.
I think they did that in Destiny, didn't they?
They did that. They do that in Call of Duty all the time. Like, hey, you can get like there's the Eagle pistol that you can only unlock at level 55.
Oh, wow.
Prestige level 2. Like, but you get it day one because you
pre-ordered
it.
from.
So is it too soon to bring up pay to win?
No,
That
it's
seems
not.
pretty appropriate.
Pay to win is the worst.
So
It depends.
yeah, I was about to say it depends on the game.
We should probably define.
Well,
it
actually, yeah,
for-
because if we're talking about pay to win, we mean something specifically.
Steve, define it first before going.
That's
so
why.
people
That's
don't-
what I was about to do. I mean, of course, Mr. Producer, sir. Of course. I apologize. I'm sorry for
Down
my
to
out,
one.
I'm sorry for my outburst.
Do you want to define it?
Okay, yeah. So by pay to win, stop me if I'm incorrect. We specifically
incorrect.
mean. All right. Well,
You knew that was
I messed up. Show's over, guys. Good night. But we mean specifically, and just add anything in also, is the ability in a game to purchase advantages against other players who would otherwise be on equal footing as you, or skill. They would basically a game that relies on skill, where you can just buy an advantage of some variety.
Not to be confused.
I wouldn't say necessarily you also had to have skill.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant a game where
You
it's
can
basically
buy enhancements.
yeah,
to
where,
help you
where
win.
otherwise it would only be how good you are at the game.
Yeah, and I'm saying I'm going to say like I'm going to make it a little bit broader because like GTA has a pay to win system and they're online, and that has nothing to do with skills. It's how much money you have in the game.
Well, no, that's
But there is an actual game within GTA where you can kill other players because like continue. I'll
Wait, okay. Look, to be clear, what I'm talking about is if the money was absent, the only thing in the game would be your ability to play the game.
or how many times you're doing it.
Yeah, that even then, that's what I mean. Because I forget this is for single player also.
Right.
That's what I was talking about when I said skill.
yeah, that's
I
why
didn't-
that's why I said
Can I-
continue. I'll bring this back up
Can
later.
I give like an example? And this is just like hypothetical. I don't know
Dota.
if it is or isn't. But it's like let's say we have a Star Wars game, and you can. There's
that
an all-powerful
hypothetical.
lightsaber.
Uh-huh.
So under normal circumstances, let's just say it's 100,000 coins.
In-game currency.
Yeah. in-game
Hypothetically,
currency.
of course.
Now, what they might do for pay to win is, hey, for every $10 you get $10,000. So you give them
Coins.
coins. Sorry,
I knew I was following you.
right.
I got the
But
ticket.
let's
I'm on
just
the train.
say you're just like, well, I got money. Put $100 down. You can get that shit if I did the math correctly.
And then now you have
Right.
an all-powerful lightsaber that's just mowing through all the online players.
And then they have to. They're basically, unless they're paying money, they have to do it the hard way.
Right.
And they had to work. They had to work in game to get
Oh
it.
yeah, sports games do that.
Do they
And,
actually?
Wait.
Yeah, man, in NBA 2K, to get your player to like 99 overall, you have to play the game for like 1,000 hours, some crazy amount to earn enough points to do that.
But Gaston, to
Or
be
you can
fair,
buy it. You can buy the points.
But Gaston, to be fair, sport games aren't actually video games.
I mean, I agree with you.
I mean,
It's
you
just
can
an
even
example.
bring up what was it Candy Crush? That's a pay to win game too.
Now,
When you
'cause-
run out of
yeah,
lives, you can pay. You can pay to get lives. You can pay to get certain upgrades to
Yeah.
make the
Farmville,
stage
too.
easier.
Power ups and
Farmville.
whatnot.
Now, what I
Yeah.
would say about those that makes me not think of those as, malicious, I guess, is that at least with those, you're playing kind of against yourself. So really, like, you're paying to kind of cover your mistake in the game as opposed to, like, paying for an easier way to beat other people.
Well, yes, I get what you're saying, but it's as far as the practice, I can say it's malicious because you're like all these microtransaction equals a lot for like one person can actually invest like hundreds of dollars into what they think are microtransactions, or like you have a kid playing this game, they like, well, I want to keep playing and keep hitting the buy stuff. I mean that can lead to other problems.
Ryan and
I know South Park did
there's
an
a lot of
episode on
games.
this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I would say that. Oh, go ahead.
Or just real quick, Ryan and Gaston, did you both play Candy Crush when it came out?
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
Wait, why did you skip me?
You ain't play no Candy Crush.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I don't believe you.
I have it on. Do I have it on my phone?
But do
Go
you
ahead.
remember that one piece of candy that like kind of wiped out everything?
Yeah.
But you only got one, and you probably never saw it again. But you can buy that.
Oh no, I got it again because I know how to get it. Because Candy Crush is nothing but Bejeweled.
Nah,
but it was difficult, right?
Because like with mobile
It's
games,
difficult to get, and so yeah, buying that power up will make it easier for people who don't know how to
Candy
play,
Crush on my phone.
like a Bejeweled type game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I get what you're saying, but like to somebody like me, it wasn't worth it because I'm like I know how to get it. You just get 5 in a row,
Right.
and then bam, you get it.
But I think with mobile games, like you're literally paying for time because the idea of a mobile game is that like you're not playing it for 8 hours, like you're not playing it for an extended period of time. So it's like take a game like Fire Emblem Heroes, right? You can either pay $20 and now you can summon 5 characters for your collection, or you can actually like go through and play the game and earn the things necessary to get those 5 characters. It's basically like, do you value your time or do you want to just use the money? Because the game isn't designed to be played for very long. But with something that's competitive, like your hypothetical Star Wars game, for example, totally not a real game that you're talking about. Like with that one, you are literally paying to just instantly be better than people.
Arguable, but I understand your point.
Like to oversimplify. Like you still got to be able to play.
I know what you
game.
meant. I was messing with you.
And
But like you're playing, you're paying money to circumvent like going through what you're supposed to go through.
But like even in a game like Overwatch, like you paying for the loot boxes to get better skins than other people, it's kind of you gloating that you can do that. Is even though there's no skill involved, you're still gloating like I have this skin and I'm going to show it off. I had this special emote that you don't
But that's
have.
that's like
Well, I
saying
don't
that's
know,
like
I
saying
don't-
that's like saying buying Jordans is you gloating that you can buy
Yeah,
Jordans.
I think you added an extra context to that I don't think exists for most people. Like they get the skin and go, I wanted this skin because it looks cool, and normally it's not. I got this skin because it looks cool, but also you suck because you don't have it.
I'm
Well,
gonna
well,
I don't think.
everybody.
I don't think
Well, I'm
that's.
saying, all right, Overwatch is a bad example, but Call of Duty is definitely a thing. Like you get the golden version of the gun or the diamond version of the gun, you're better than that person, but you can also buy it because
Because it's the
because
unlock for that
it's
gun
it's
based
a
on-
prestige version of that gun.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Because mentally, the value of that gun is attached to like your skill level because that's how you get it in the game.
Yeah.
But if you can buy it,
Now, what I was
you're just
getting,
pretending online.
what I was
I guess.
getting on with GTA earlier is like, okay, so they have a lot of heist missions now on GTA, and pretty much like you gotta be really good to get a certain amount of in-game money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going in a heist against another person, and they like foil your heist or do something, there's now a mechanic in there where you can like spite that person, and it's pretty much like a nuclear strike on that person to destroy them, and that costs I think in game like $10 million or something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of money that you have to spend to get this like satellite strike on this person. So the reason I was saying that this is a pay to win scenario is because what you can do, like if somebody keeps stopping your heist and you know that player's name, you can actually buy into the system to get the in-game cash so that you can destroy that person and make them lose money as well.
Oh, you lose money when you fail?
Yeah, you lose money whenever you die in GTA.
Oh.
And that's why I was saying
I didn't
that's
know it worked that way online,
a pay to win mechanic. I had to
Pay to kill.
pretty much
like real life. Of course.
I mean, that's what I would.
like. Can you imagine that? Like
Here's
like,
10K, just kill whoever.
No, it's like
Or is that 10 million, is that
it's
you
a
said?
ridiculous amount of money, and it's like all right, satellite, do the thing. You just walking around. I'm dead now. I lost like $50,000.
Because I get why a company would want to do something like that, where they, just to those people who can buy it, you make it ridiculously expensive just so it's not common.
Or it's not like overused.
Yeah,
But, like,
but
Pokemon
it's still
more
pretty
abused.
ridiculous.
But like Pokemon Go is another example of that too.
Oh, that's competitive now too.
Well, now it is.
Yeah.
But like what was that guy who spent like $10,000 buying?
Some ridiculous amount so
yeah,
he
he-
could get up to level 30.
He bought like
Oh, but didn't he like? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
he like used a whole bunch of credit cards, and I think he spent like $10,000 so that he can get like a whole bunch of Pokeballs and other things just to be able to catch all these Pokemon and do all this stuff.
Yeah, because no, he was basically flying around the world, paying for hotels and stuff.
Well, not that guy. It was a different guy.
Oh, different guy.
Yeah,
different guy.
But like, wouldn't you consider that kind of not necessarily pay to win, but a sort of like kind of pay for success?
Well, yeah, there's a difference though, because I think personally, I only think it's a problem, this pay to win or pay to succeed thing. It's only really an issue
When it's competitive.
when there's someone else involved. Like
'Cause
if
you're
I'm
ruining their
if I'm going into
experience.
debt for Pokemon Go, that's on me, right? End of the day, my bad. Whoops. I just really wanted that Porygon, you guys, but I couldn't hatch an egg, so I had to find one in the wild. The closest one was in Brazil. Like that's on me if I do that. But if I'm, paying whatever amount of money to literally get a satellite cannon and blow someone up, then sure I did that, but I'm doing that to someone else. Right, so I'm infringing on someone else's fun because I have money.
But does it count now since Pokemon Pikachu and Pokemon Eevee are a thing?
And not really, just because
It's in
like
retrospect, it counts.
But that's what I was trying to get to. Like, if you're playing,
it's harder to get Pokemon in Pokemon Go than it is to get them in Let's Go Eevee.
True.
And Let's Go Pikachu. Go ahead.
But I was saying, like, if you're playing a single player game and you're paying to win, at that point, it's like a personal choice. Like, you're just kind of. I'm not gonna say you're being lazy because I guess you had to go to work to get all that money. But
Not necessarily.
But yeah,
You
but
can
like,
you can find other ways to get money.
like you're basically paying money to circumvent you actually playing the game, and like that's a personal choice, I guess.
But
I completely disagree.
But going back to
But
another
like-
episode where we were talking about responsibility, at what point, like, should like the company step in and like have a moral compass to say like maybe we're making them pay too much, or maybe like we should stop that and just give it to them for free.
Is that really your
Come on, the producer wants to talk.
Oh,
I mean-
I ain't trying to get cut.
I feel that's only an issue if the content wasn't complete, like Mass Effect. That's on the producer.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm with you on that one.
I was so mad. Like at first I was happy that I was getting that DLC. Like I was like, oh yeah, I get to play as a Prothean. And then I started to see like, yo, this game breaks if you don't have that DLC. And even though I had it, I was still mad with everybody else. Like, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard.
We're
Like,
mad for them.
Were you
Pretty much.
Were you little mad or big mad, Ryan?
I was
He was large mad.
Big.
I was mass mad.
That's a good one.
But like, yeah, that like EA has had some questionable practices with DLC.
Is
to the
that with
po-
the
Wait, who do you think it was the worst? Because Capcom's had some pretty bad ones.
Capcom.
You think Capcom?
Because I like Capcom the most, and when they fuck up, it gets on my nerves.
Well, then you should be.
Also, I love Street Fighter. Mainly, I love Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Like you enjoy Mass Effect, so they messed it up. It's a game no one played after 9 months because they messed up the DLC
You
stuff.
should just call it Crapcon now.
Stop it. I have a lot of respect for them. I'm kidding.
Like personally, like if I'm trying to be unbiased here, I think EA has more examples of where they fucked up big time.
That's fair.
Hold on, are we rated R now because we said fuck like fucking 4 times?
I think you
Well,
can
we
profanity
had
the
only
whole
It's
said-
time.
definitely more than one
We had
now.
only said it once until you did all that.
But
I mean, we can edit it out.
but
Can we?
It's
But-
not live.
I feel like EA has had more infractions. Like yeah, Capcom has had a lot, but like I think your example was like a major one, but then like his example, they had more smaller examples like
Yeah,
that.
that's-
Where EA, they're constantly been like on 100 of like we're going to do this because we can, and like y'all still going to buy the game.
Yeah.
And they're kind of
Sucks that they're right.
yeah, I was about to say it's kind of they're kind of right, but at the same time, it's like y'all really need to stop doing that. Like whereas Capcom's like, can y'all? It's more like y'all really need to stop. To Capcom was like, can y'all please stop doing that? Like, just make it better.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'll put it to you this way: EA fucked up so hard that half the civilized world is now investigating stopping DLC.
Serious? Oh.
Yeah,
So there you go.
and it all started with Mass Effect.
Mass Effect and the hypothetical Star Wars game.
Right. I mean, how good would it be? How crazy would it be if like Nintendo back in the day had like Super Mario Brothers 3? Oh, DLC. You can get a superstar.
No, wait.
Did you want a Tanuki suit?
Oh, no.
$5.99.
Oh, no,
Pay
wait.
$4.99
You can also
for a
play
piece.
as Luigi.
He can
Oh
jump
man,
slightly
how
higher.
different would Super Mario 2 be?
Which one?
Oh no, you had to pay
Yeah.
for Toad and Princess Peach.
Yeah, if you had to pay like the one that they stole from Japan and
Oh
then
my
changed.
God.
No, hold on.
Doki Doki.
Hold on,
Yeah.
wait.
Panic.
No. Going to that, it'll be Super Mario Bro, and then when you buy a DLC, it changes to
They add
Brothers.
But then it's an extra $4.99 to get Peach because she's not a brother. See, that'd be rough.
Yeah, and then you pay an extra.
I mean,
$10.99
we don't-
to
we-
unlock the secret ending.
We technically
where it was a
don't
dream
know
the
if she's
whole
not a
time.
brother now. We don't know her whole
No,
sex
she
and
had
gender.
those babies with Bowser.
We're good. We're good. Pass.
Well,
Next.
actually, that cutscene would have been
Next.
DLC in Super Mario Sunshine for sure.
So I know a big thing you wanted to talk about was loot boxes. So what was going on with loot boxes for you?
Oh my god! Since you mentioned it, just big fuck you to EA real quick, because they're the reason that loot boxes are probably gonna end up having to go away.
Which is
even
not a
though-
bad thing.
Even though when you think about it, though, okay, so let's define loot boxes. Loot boxes, what we're talking about, is when you buy a pack of something and you don't know what contents you're going to get until after you buy it.
But they are related to the game in some way.
Now, the thing about it is, it's really interesting that people are just
Do
now
this
getting
next,
on loot
yeah.
boxes. When loot boxes have been around pretty much as long as card games.
I was
it's
about
the
to say
same
it's
thing.
just a freaking trading card pack.
It's just virtual now.
Yeah, like I was like, is it gambling if I bought a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Yeah, that's my
Like,
problem with the
Well-
reason Congress is investigating.
Well, I
it.
think-
if you say loot boxes are a form of gambling, then so are booster packs for like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, baseball cards, like all that kind of stuff.
But I think the difference here is that when you have like card decks and when you're buying these, they're already set. Like in the you like it's already something in the pack. With a virtual thing, you can change the algorithm to like so like think about Monster Hunter drop rate system, where it's like that super rare item. You think about it, you're never going to get it, type of thing. Like you thinking about it changes the algorithm. I'm not saying it's
No, no, you're
necessarily
not saying
true,
it's-
That's
but like
scientific,
with a card pack, the card packs are already stuffed in there, so your chances don't change. But with online interactions, they can change that at any time they want to.
Yeah, but wouldn't it would only matter if they did, right?
Well,
So like say, like we'll take the Monster Hunter example, right? So say what you get is randomized, right? So what I'm saying is it would only be a problem if it's when it's randomized, right? So say we're fighting a monster, we kill it, and the second I start carving it to get a whatever reward, then it's randomized, right? That's one thing, and that would be worse because that would be like the company actually going, "Oh, you bought this? Well, you got some crap, right?"
Right.
Or is it when I start the quest, the rewards are automatically randomized no matter what? If I bought it and then it was immediately randomized to be whatever it was, that's one thing. But if they were like the second I open it, then it's randomized, I can see where that would be a little more.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the confusion is happening. And I think that's why it's under investigation because they want to make sure that they're not changing it.
Yeah.
Like right then and there. Because
They're not actively involved in like, oh, looks like little Timmy's opening a loot box. Well, let's just make that all commons.
So let me
you know,
just
I was
ask
gonna do
you,
that.
just straight up, do you guys individually find it gambling?
Sort of.
It literally is gambling, but
only if I'm paying for it.
If you're paying real money bucks, then yeah.
Because again, bring up Overwatch. The loot boxes are free. I just gotta
Play the game.
Yeah, I just gotta go up a level and I get a loot box. To me, I don't feel one way or the other when I don't get anything I want.
because you
but,
didn't
like-
have to pay for it.
Yeah, if I pay for it and then I got crappy stuff, I feel cheated.
But that's part of
The gamble.
yeah, but that's you.
That's
yeah.
it's part of the gamble, which is part of the gambling.
But the problem I'm saying is
That's no different from trading cards, though.
yeah, exactly. But I'm saying the reason that because we mean gambling in a legal sense that needs to be regulated. The only reason gambling is regulated is because there's real money exchanging hands in terms of like you're paying for chips or whatever, but then you can get money back in return. That's the only reason it's regulated. And since I can't do that with most games, CS:GO notwithstanding, because that was a big thing like last year, I think it was. Oh well, they don't know about that. That's just me. We'll talk about it later.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh,
It says CS:GO.
Call of Duty or Counter Strike Global Offensive.
I'm
They
not
had
sure
a big
about
thing.
that.
They had a big problem with gambling because you could buy skins and weapons, but you could sell them in a virtual marketplace for actual money.
Well, that's been a thing since like World of Warcraft and stuff too as well.
yeah, but they have their own marketplace.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, for them, there was a system where it was like a roulette kind of thing, where you could bet those actual skins and weapons and stuff, and get money that way.
Yeah.
Which is why it was considered gambling because that stuff had real money
monetary
value.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
get
why
it.
it was a problem. But I'm saying for most loot boxes like Overwatch, I can't sell a Zarya skin, all like 4 of them,
Yeah.
for however much money. It's not worth anything in real life. you
And
know?
like even in Call of Duty, if you pay for that loot box, you can't sell it to another player.
yeah, it's not a real diamond gun that's worth diamonds. Whoops.
Oh.
Platinum, right? Not diamond.
I don't remember.
Speaking of which,
whatever.
wasn't there I think it was there was a village that I think was it Venezuela, no, somewhere in Venezuela, where basically in-game money was worth more than their actual economy. Just really
Yeah,
random.
that's happened in at least 2 countries.
Wow, that's amazing. What game was it? Do you know?
It might have been
I think it
Venezuela.
was World of Warcraft, but
Yeah.
don't
No.
quote me.
Shit, I don't play that game.
I
I'm
mean,
quoting
look,
Jason. He said, "World." No, I'm joking.
if you want to compare it to Zimbabwe, their inflation's so bad that they have a $1 billion bill. It's rough out there.
Fun fact. Yep. How much is it worth? USDs.
$1 billion.
These
$1 billion.
nuts. Got him. Moving on.
I think we should just end on that. To be honest,
Oh, I mean.
can an ending get any better?
Yes, but y'all usually
I was,
ruin it.
I was gonna say yeah. You can try.
Okay, so let me just ask one final question, and then we can get out of here. So, in you guys' opinion, would you rather have a game come out that is completely finished with no other content coming to it, or would you have a game that there's still stuff that needs to be added that they just couldn't get into it by the time the release was?
Neither.
Yeah, I'm with him on this one. Yeah, no way.
Like,
So you'd rather have something like Smash Ultimate where it's done, but they're adding other stuff anyway?
Yeah.
all right. So I'll phrase it this way: if a game comes out and personally I feel like it's completed, and then like later on, the developer comes back like, yeah, like we were sitting around thinking about extra stuff we can add, so we want to add that for you guys. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If I get a game and I feel like it's not completed, and they're like, well, here's the stuff that will make it feel complete. No.
Yeah, I think a good example. I'll compare 2 indie games that I enjoy a lot. Right. There's Shantae and Shantae Half Gene Hero. That game, it got launched. There's a bunch of DLC.
That's a fun game too, by the way.
I saw you play it. Yeah, there's a bunch of DLC that came with the game. Right. There's ninja, like all these extra modes and stuff, and that's with the game.
And that's a separate mode from the actual game.
Like it's just extra stuff in the game. The game is already complete. They just added that extra, right? That's fine. But then also as DLC, they released some extra transformations you can get in the game. Like it was free. It was free, but they were just in the game as extra. They were saying, "Hey, we finished the game. We're done, but we just want to go back and add a couple things. Thank you for buying the game. We appreciate you for playing it. All that. They just put it in the game, right? That kind of thing I appreciate way more than any amount of regular DLC. Where like we planned out a 10-year system of time release DLC to maintain the servers for this online game, like that noise, right? Compare that to Shovel Knight, which isn't complete technically, but they have a complete game with Shovel Knight, the original campaign. They have Plague of Shadows, and then they have Spectre of what's it called? Darkness? Whatever. They have 3 different campaigns in that game, and it's still not complete. There's one left.
Yeah, the
King of Cards.
Yeah.
Coming out sometime in April.
But even still, that feels like that's still a fun game to play.
Yeah, I mean,
and like it's not like it's not hurting me that I have to wait for that game for that next DLC pack.
Yeah, because I had 1 that was good, then I had 2 that were good, then I have 3 that's good. The third one being incredible.
Yeah,
And like
Spectre
even
Knight's
like another indie game like Hollow Knight, like if you take out the DLC that adds to the game, like it's still a fun game.
Yeah.
Like the DLC just adds extra levels to the game, or like if you want an extra challenge, it's like here's more DLC for you. Like we know you wanted to do more, so here's more stuff that you can do within the same lore, but it will never affect the end game. It's once it affects the end game or how you have to beat the game.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's when it becomes a problem for me.
Because those extra levels, they're kind of crazy. Like
The Grim Troop,
yeah,
man, fuck Grim. That's all I'm saying. And what's his name? Zord.
Oh, yes.
They haven't played Hollow
We haven't
Knight
played
yet.
it, so I heard Zord. I was
So-
like, "We talking Power Rangers?"
So if
Right.
you don't know, any title that has night in it,
It's going to be a great game.
That's-
me and Jason just came to that conclusion the
I'm
other
trying to
day.
think what other games have night in the title. 'Cause they're
Shovel
all
Knight.
pretty good.
Under Night, but that's a fighting game that you guys don't play.
But it's still fun though, right?
Fun as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It works. It works.
What was the night suit? Can't remember his name.
Oh, Rocket Knight.
Yeah, Rocket
Okay,
Knight's
that's
good. Yeah. Yeah, there isn't a bad game with night in the title.
I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all can come up with some, but
Yeah, there's
just
probably
don't
a bunch.
don't try to
Those
disprove
will
us.
be interesting comments on the Facebook page. Which, by the way, Jason, what's the Facebook page?
at Woodson AWE.
Ah, yeah, there you go. Plug.
That was good.
yeah,
All right,
smooth.
yeah.
It's not good when you point it out.
At Woodson.
That was less good. That was like, I mean, that was fantastic.
And my cut.
Don't cut my mic.
But yeah,
And then okay, so since you mentioned that, do you prefer if a game like does what Nintendo does, where they tell you, hey, you know, game's done, but we have DLC that's coming, or would you prefer it be a surprise?
is it going to break the game if I don't have that DLC?
I mean, hopefully not, but that would be a programming thing that they might not have known about.
You know what he's mad.
Because again,
not
my
be.
problem is as long as the game is not broken, they can tell me ahead of time or after the fact.
Or just update it.
As long as I don't need it, and it's my choice to say I want those extra things,
But the issue,
then I'm fine.
The issue is like Smash Brothers. You don't get the fire pass.
I would say it's different than fighting games, I think.
Yeah. Well,
fighting
if
games
you
are
don't get
special.
it, like you don't get Joker, you don't get the 4 other people. You're kind of at a disadvantage.
Not
Or you're at
necessarily.
least missing people. 'Cause you
Yeah,
don't
I
get to
wouldn't say
fight
I'm at a
them.
disadvantage because, like, let's say I don't care about those those people, these mystery people, who may not even be people like characters I actually like in their own game. So I still have 74 characters to choose from
But-
that I can.
You can't
But
practice.
it could be the
But one
opposite
of them,
too.
and one of them could be Bayonetta, the most broken character in all fighting game history.
Not anymore. She got a serious nerve.
Well, I just mean, like, think about it. If you had that attitude when Smash for Wii U came out, right? And you're just like, I don't care. I'll just play fucking Pit. I'll just play Pit, whatever. And I couldn't think of a character. I'm sorry. So
Could have went with like somebody like Zelda or Link.
Get out the room. Get out the room.
whatever. He's corny, but he's fine.
And
Whatever.
Mike is cut.
That's fine. And you're just like, I'll just play this one character. It's fine. DLC comes out. Lucas, Ryu, Cloud, Bayonetta, Corrin. I'm missing some. Whatever.
Robin.
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo
Robin
was
was
just-
DLC. Yeah, whatever. But those come out, and you're like, I'm not interested, right? If you played even competitively, whenever you went online, you played Bayonetta, and you got bodied, because that's what happens when you play Bayonetta.
Or Cloud.
It's a little easier. But if that happens, you're at a disadvantage because you can't practice against Bayonetta, and then you can't give yourself the advantage of playing that character also.
I
Which
mean,
is why
I
was saying
I
for
understand.
fighting games, it's different.
No, I understand what you're saying, but also,
You can still not
if you
care.
feel like you're the shit and you don't have to do that, then it's still not a problem for you because it's still not breaking the game. It's not like you can't complete the game or still have fun with the game without those characters. It's just you have a different you may have a different difficulty with some of the characters that you don't have, but it's not necessary to have them.
Yeah, that's why I had to say semi-competitively. And as far as fighting games are concerned, because it's actually relevant. In most games that aren't against someone else or you're not competing, that kind of attitude is fine.
But
Like,
you can still play Smash non-competitively.
Yeah.
That's why
It's just-
that's why I
I know.
specified.
It's a
But
little
even if
different.
I'm playing competitively, if you have a different character than I have, like I can still try to beat you with a character that I like.
Yeah, and then what if you've never seen the character I have, and then the character I have also has supreme frame data and the ability to combo you from 0 to like 30% off the top of the screen?
If I'm good enough, I can still take.
Yeah, I'll tell you how many times this happened to anybody against Bayonetta. The answer is 0. No one goes like, I've never seen Bayonetta before, and it just wins. Doesn't happen.
Because I guess with fighting games, what makes it difficult is just that, technically speaking, the characters are content. So you're missing content at that point. So do you have a finished game if all the characters aren't included?
Again, my game was not stop working if I don't have those characters.
I mean,
So,
literally, yeah.
and that's what I literally mean. It won't stop working. Like Mass Effect literally stopped working if you did not have that character.
Well, I think on that note, we should just all agree that. I think on that note, we should all just agree that EA itself is just a buggy, lame, annoying mess.
No, we should all go out and get FIFA to what year is it?
I think they'll be on 2019 now.
Yeah, whatever
Well,
the
nah,
new one is.
it's still 18, isn't it?
But I
don't know.
think they released it for the year ahead or something like that. Because
Is that how they do it?
isn't it like 2K19 right now?
Or is it just FIFA 19?
If only we had some type of
Look,
wireless device.
that
with
that
all the
implies that I
information
care
about
about
the
FIFA.
world.
And that wasn't
Somebody
just
go
a
to
bit-
Tumblr now.
We're just going to end it with what Jason said. Sports games aren't real games. So, I mean, on that note, good night.
I disagree, but anyway, we will see y'all next time on the next episode
I mean-
at Wits End.
If Mario Strikers counts as sports, then yes, that's a real game.
Again, we'll see you next time on the next episode at Wits End, where
Later,
we talk
guys.
about more things. You can check us out on our Facebook page at Wits End dash AWE or at YouTube at Wits End dash AWE.
We'll probably get a Twitter one day.
Yeah.
Good night,
Later,
everybody.
guys.